The very unique quality of this particular site is that it has visual access to just about every part of Sydney. And we really loved that from someone's living room, that sort of view to the harbour and that view to the sea and the view to the heads could be a really special part of anchoring actually the whole narrative.
I'm Nick Yakol, General Manager Sales for Lendlease, and we're at One Darling Point. The building was designed around creating these almost house-like apartments, generous in their living spaces, but also centred around taking advantage of the position of the site and the height that we get with the site. Once you're inside your apartment, you'll feel like you're in seclusion with no real neighbours around, just taking advantage of the space and the generous views that you get from every apartment.
My name is Tzannes, Director of Tzannes Architects, working with Lendlease on the design of One Darling Point. We say it's somebody's home. We want to make that as effective and efficient and as flexible and adaptable as possible. And in that way, we looked at the views and how we could locate apartments so that every apartment had great outlook and separation from each other apartment. And it coincided with the idea of how we can optimize outlook and how we could make the building flow, make it feel like it's a moving character, a liquid sort of form. Property also was interesting because on the corner is a heritage listed building, a former bank. That is always an opportunity rather than a constraint. The heritage controls permitted us to cantilever a significant portion of the new building over that building. And that creates a direct relationship between existing and new design. It contributes to the idea that the building design is very place-specific. It couldn't be designed anywhere else.
For Alexander & Co, in terms of the interiors, it was really looking to expand on that house-like qualities of the interiors and the floor plans, and then in terms of the actual finishes to have that sort of classic look.
My name's Jeremy Bull and I am the Director of Alexander & Co, Architecture and Interiors. Lendlease came to us with a brief to design a suite of apartments that could feel really special as more like a house. The footprints of these apartments were to be very large. What we're trying to do is to say, you're not coming into an open plan apartment, you're coming into something of real substance. This is a house with its own entry foyer. From there, the way we managed views through the apartments to key view corridors, but then also the connection between rooms. We're really very deliberate to make sure that you look through thresholds to other rooms, and at the end of corridors, there's moments of art or surprise. This piece of architecture that Alex designed with his team is very substantial and monolithic. It's very permanent. What we wanted to do was to bring that sense of substance and permanence into the interiors. So you'll see the way the kitchen articulates, very substantial stone edges, and you'll see the way the rear kitchen is. There's no thinness, everything is very thick. You'll know it when you're coming through it, this sort of sinew and this connection, and each room suggests the connection to the next room. Sort of vignettes, these moments of energy that come from that connection. What I hope is that these homes feel very comfortable but complex. And I think success for us would be that there is an evolving, unfolding process of surprise as different finishes, different details kind of reveal themselves to people who are living in the houses. My hope is that everyone who comes in here is able to move from space to space and feel like this has been so generously conceived to allow them to have a really beautiful, theatrical, kind of magical lifestyle.
The location of One Darling Point lends itself to not having to give up on anything that you love, whether that's sailing down at the yacht club, whether that's walking around the Harbour foreshore. Everything is within a walking distance. I just think it's the ability to kind of live your best life at One Darling Point.